Alright, food lovers, today we're diving into a dish that's hearty, creamy, and bursting with flavor. Beef stroganoff. Picture this: tender strips of beef, sautéed to perfection with onions and mushrooms, all coated in a rich, tangy, sour cream sauce. It's pure comfort food with a fascinating history. Originating in 19th century Russia, this dish has traveled the world. Beef stroganoff remains a testament to simple, satisfying flavors. Join me as we uncover the secrets of this iconic dish. Let's get cooking. Beef stroganoff, a dish synonymous with comfort and warmth, finds its origins in the heart of Russia. This culinary masterpiece emerged during a time of great change in Russian cuisine. It was enjoyed by the aristocracy, a symbol of their refined palate. The story of beef stroganoff is a bit of a mystery. Many tales surround its creation, adding to its allure. Some say it was invented by a chef for Count Stroganoff. Others believe it was popular in elite restaurants. Whatever its beginnings, it captured the hearts of Russians. Its rich flavors made it a beloved staple in homes. And soon this gem began its journey beyond Russia, captivating food lovers around the globe. Imagine Russia in the 1800s, a vast empire stretching from Europe to Asia. Tsars ruled with absolute power from grand palaces. Life was a mix of opulence and hardship. The aristocracy enjoyed lavish balls and extravagant feasts. Think glittering chandeliers, flowing champagne, and tables laden with delicacies. Meanwhile, the majority of Russians lived simple lives in the countryside. They worked the land, celebrated traditions, and relied on hearty, home-cooked meals. Food was essential, a source of nourishment and comfort. This stark contrast between rich and poor played a role in shaping Russian cuisine. In the grand kitchens of the wealthy, French chefs were all the rage. They brought with them sophisticated techniques and new ingredients, transforming the culinary landscape of Russia. French cuisine was considered the epitome of elegance and refinement in 19th century Europe. Russian nobles, eager to embrace European culture, embraced French gastronomy with open arms. French chefs were hired by wealthy families and became highly influential figures in Russian kitchens. They introduced new cooking methods, ingredients, and presentation styles. Classic French sauces like bechamel and veloute found their way into Russian dishes. These creamy, rich sauces were a stark contrast to the simpler, more rustic flavors of traditional Russian cooking, but they were quickly adopted and adapted, eventually becoming staples in Russian cuisine themselves. This fusion of French and Russian culinary traditions created a unique and exciting culinary scene in Russia. Dishes like beef stroganoff, with their blend of Russian ingredients and French techniques, perfectly embodied this culinary fusion. Beef stroganoff, with its creamy sauce and tender beef, is a prime example of this fusion. The dish combines simple, readily available ingredients like beef, onions, and sour cream with French cooking techniques. The result was a dish that was both familiar and exotic, comforting and sophisticated. The use of sour cream, a staple in Russian cooking, gave the dish its signature tangy flavor. This was a departure from traditional French sauces, which often relied on butter, cream, and flour for their richness. The addition of sour cream added a unique, bright element to the dish, balancing out the richness of the beef and mushrooms. This fusion of flavors and techniques is what makes beef stroganoff so special. It's a dish that represents a specific time and place in culinary history, a testament to the creativity and ingenuity of cooks who weren't afraid to experiment and blend different culinary traditions. Let's talk about Count Stroganoff, linked to this iconic dish. Count Pavel Stroganoff was a prominent figure in 19th century Russia, known for his lavish lifestyle and love of good food. Legend says beef stroganoff was created in the Stroganoff kitchens. The dish became a favorite of the Count and his guests. It emerged during a time of great culinary innovation in Russia, reflecting the changing tastes of the Russian aristocracy. As Russia entered the 20th century, a time of both upheaval and progress, beef stroganoff began its journey beyond its homeland. This culinary ambassador traveled alongside Russian immigrants, finding new homes and new interpretations across the globe. Imagine families fleeing revolution, carrying with them cherished recipes and memories of their homeland. These emigrants, seeking new beginnings in foreign lands, brought with them their culinary traditions. They introduced beef stroganoff to their new neighbors, sharing a taste of Russia with the world. From Europe to Asia, North America to Australia, beef stroganoff found its way onto dinner tables, adapting to local ingredients and preferences along the way. This culinary migration wasn't just about survival, it was about preserving a connection to their roots. Each plate of beef stroganoff served in a new land was a reminder of home, a testament to the enduring power of food to connect people across cultures. As beef stroganoff ventured beyond Russia, it encountered a world of diverse culinary traditions. Each culture embraced the dish, adding its own unique twist to the classic recipe. Think of it like a culinary conversation, with each culture adding its own voice to the mix. In China, beef stroganoff was often served with rice instead of noodles, a nod to local tastes. In Hungary, the dish took on a fiery edge with the addition of paprika, a beloved spice in Hungarian cuisine. And in Brazil, beef stroganoff was often brightened with the addition of tomatoes and bell peppers, reflecting the country's love of vibrant flavors. These adaptations weren't just about substitutions, they were about culinary fusion, about finding harmony between familiar flavors and new ingredients. Each variation of beef stroganoff told a story of cultural exchange, a testament to the power of food to bridge divides. Beef stroganoff's journey eventually led it to the shores of America, where it found a particularly enthusiastic audience. Americans, with their love of hearty, comforting meals, embraced the dish wholeheartedly. It became a staple on dinner tables across the country, appearing in cookbooks and restaurants alike. However, the American palate, accustomed to bolder flavors, led to some interesting adaptations. Cream of mushroom soup, a pantry staple in many American households, became a popular addition to the sauce, adding a creamy, savory depth. Some recipes even called for canned mushrooms, a testament to the American love of convenience. While these adaptations might make purists raise an eyebrow, they highlight the dynamic nature of food. Beef stroganoff, once a dish enjoyed in the grand palaces of Russia, had become a beloved part of American culinary culture, a testament to its adaptability and enduring appeal. Alright, let's roll up our sleeves and get cooking. The beauty of beef stroganoff lies in its simplicity. We're working with humble ingredients that, when combined with a bit of culinary know-how, transform into something truly special. First things first, let's talk about the star of the show, the beef. We're looking for a cut that's tender and flavorful. Sirloin, tenderloin, or even ribeye will do the trick. The key is to slice the beef thinly and against the grain. This ensures that every bite melts in your mouth. Remember, we want this beef to be tender, not tough. Now onto the supporting cast onions and mushrooms. These humble vegetables add depth and complexity to our dish. We'll be slicing the onions thinly and quartering the mushrooms. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty here. Section 2. Sizzle and sear. With our ingredients prepped, it's time to crank up the heat. Grab a large skillet or Dutch oven and add a generous knob of butter. Let that butter melt and sizzle. We want it nice and hot. This is where the magic begins. Now, in goes our sliced beef. The goal here is to sear the beef quickly on all sides, locking in those delicious juices. Don't overcrowd the pan. We want that beautiful golden brown crust on each piece. This step is all about building flavor. As the beef sizzles, season generously with salt and pepper. Don't be shy. Salt is our friend. It enhances the natural flavors of the beef. Once the beef is beautifully browned, remove it from the pan and set it aside. We'll be adding it back in later. Section 3. The dance of flavors. Now it's time for the onions and mushrooms to take center stage. Add them to the pan with the beef drippings, letting them sizzle and soften. We want those onions to turn translucent and the mushrooms to release their earthy aroma. This is where the dish starts to come alive. As the vegetables cook, you can add a pinch of sugar if you like. This little trick helps with caramelization, adding a touch of sweetness to balance out the savory flavors. Remember, cooking is all about balance. Once the onions are softened and the mushrooms are golden brown, it's time to deglaze the pan. This fancy-sounding technique simply means adding a splash of liquid to the pan and scraping up all those delicious brown bits from the bottom. These bits are pure flavor. You can use beef broth, white wine, or even just water. Section 4, the creamy embrace. Alright, here comes the best part, the creamy sauce. This is what transforms our simple beef and vegetables into a luxurious, comforting dish. Reduce the heat to low and add a dollop of Dijon mustard to the pan. This adds a subtle tanginess that cuts through the richness of the sauce. Now for the star ingredient, sour cream. Gently whisk in a generous amount of sour cream, making sure it's fully incorporated into the sauce. The sauce should be smooth and velvety, coating the back of a spoon. This is what dreams are made of. At this point, you can taste the sauce and adjust the seasoning. Add more salt, pepper, or even a squeeze of lemon juice to brighten things up. Remember, cooking is all about tasting and adjusting to your liking. While the sauce simmers, let's talk about the perfect accompaniment noodles. Traditionally, beef stroganoff is served over a bed of egg noodles. They're the perfect blank canvas for that creamy, flavorful sauce. Cook the noodles according to package directions until they're al dente tender but still with a bit of bite. Once the noodles are cooked, drain them well and add them directly to the pan with the sauce. Gently toss everything together until the noodles are evenly coated in that glorious sauce. You can also add the beef back to the pan at this point to warm it through. And there you have it. Beef stroganoff fit for a king or queen. Ladle this comforting masterpiece into bowls, garnish with a dollop of sour cream and a sprinkle of fresh parsley, and prepare to be transported to culinary heaven. We've talked about the history, the journey, and the making of this iconic dish. Now let's talk about presenting this masterpiece. Imagine this, a steaming bowl of beef stroganoff, its creamy sauce clinging to perfectly cooked noodles. The aroma alone is enough to make your mouth water, but we're not just serving food, we're creating an experience. A sprinkle of fresh parsley adds a pop of color and freshness. A dollop of sour cream, placed delicately on top, adds a touch of elegance. And don't forget a side of crusty bread, perfect for soaking up every last drop of that delicious sauce. Remember, we eat with our eyes first. So let's make this dish as visually appealing as it is delicious. A sprig of fresh thyme or rosemary adds a touch of rustic charm. A scattering of chopped chives adds a burst of vibrant green. Now let's talk about variations. Beef stroganoff, while traditionally made with beef, is incredibly versatile. Feel free to experiment with other proteins. Chicken stroganoff, with its delicate flavor, is a lighter alternative. Pork stroganoff, with its rich taste, is another delicious option. For our vegetarian friends, mushroom stroganoff is a real winner. Use a variety of mushrooms like cremini, shiitake, and oyster mushrooms for a symphony of earthy flavors. Tofu, cooked to perfection, also makes a fantastic addition to stroganoff. And don't forget about sides. While egg noodles are the classic choice, don't be afraid to venture out. Rice pilaf, with its fluffy texture and delicate flavor, is a wonderful accompaniment. Mashed potatoes, creamy and comforting, are another great option. For a lighter side, a simple green salad adds a refreshing contrast to the richness of the stroganoff. So there you have it, the story of beef stroganoff, a dish born in the opulent kitchens of 19th century Russia, embraced by cultures around the world and enjoyed by millions today. It's a testament to the power of simple ingredients, transformed by a bit of culinary know-how into something truly special. Think about it, this dish has survived revolutions, crossed continents, and adapted to countless cultures. That's quite a journey for a humble plate of beef and noodles. It just goes to show that good food, like a good story, has the power to connect us all. The next time you find yourself craving a warm, comforting meal, remember the story of beef stroganoff. It's a reminder that some of the most delicious dishes are born from a blend of cultures, a dash of creativity, and a whole lot of love. Now it's your turn. Don't be afraid to try your hand at making beef stroganoff at home. Gather your ingredients, put on your apron, and let the aromas transport you to another time and place. Remember, cooking is about more than just following a recipe. It's about creating something delicious and sharing it with those you love. Experiment with different variations, add your own personal touch, and make this classic dish your own. Who knows? You might even discover a new family favorite, passed down through generations with stories of your own culinary adventures. So, go on, embrace the delicious journey of beef stroganoff. Let its history inspire you, its flavors delight you, and its simplicity remind you that sometimes the most satisfying meals are the ones made with love. Happy cooking.